Welcome everybody. This is Commander Gandhi Vega. Um, yeah, you're looking at it correctly. You're looking at it correctly. I when I last left you, we were out in space, about 100 or so jumps from the current. Well, our destination was the NGC 3199 sector, Delta Lima Dash Yellow Delta 12 system. And as you can see on my left hand side of my Imperial Clipper, we are there. And not only are we there, but we're also at a fleet carrier. And from the last stream I had, we were looking for the DSSA Kraut. And now we are inside it. So this is one of the one of 100 or so planned fleet carriers to be stationed out here for up to a year, maybe 2 years for some. There are about 20 fleet carriers already stationed. There's one in Beagle Point, which is actually the farthest point from Sol in the Milky Way galaxy. There are thousands of individual non-DSSA fleet carriers in the bubble, so that's a thing. And we're out here 15,000 light years away from Sol, east of Sol, east of the bubble, in the direction of the Coalsack Nebula. This is one of three, I believe, three Outer Orion Spur Regions fleet carriers that will be stationed out here to support explorers like me. So a recap from last stream. I continued jumping, and I thought I could make it. I was distracted along the way with exploring, but I gotta make the money. I gotta make the money. And I did. I was watching some past streams of Drew Wager. If you don't know, Drew Wager has this lore tour on YouTube. They're already done with the lore tour. They're finishing it right now with the Formidine Rift Expedition. I almost called it the Distant Worlds 2 Expedition, but no, this is the Formidine Rift Expedition. But sadly, I cannot join them, so I'm on my own sort of personal expedition, doing what I do best is exploration. And we are now here at the DSSA Kraut. Now, if you are a subscriber to my YouTube channel, I did put a 30-second video of a flyby of my Imperial Clipper above the DSSA Kraut, but that was merely like a preview, and it was a sort of like guest book signing. I did post it, and I did reply to the owner of the DSSA Kraut. So if you don't know, every fleet carrier is owned by someone. You can only have one fleet carrier per account. So this is owned by a commander named Rudi Raumkraut. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I butchered the name, but there is if you go to the DSSA, the Deep Space Support Array forum posts on the Frontier forums, you will find a list of all these signed up fleet carriers. About 20 or so are operational already, meaning they're at their chosen destination. They're in their the chosen location within the region that they sign up for, and they have services up. So before we do an exterior tour of the DSSA Kraut, see how it looks like, I'm going to stay here in the hangar I believe it's pad 5, and show you what it looks like. So I myself, if I go to my commander panel or the side panel, so you see this is my my stats at a glance. I'm a master in combat, so I'm not that good. I'm not elite yet. I did start out my career as a trader, but right now I'm still a tycoon. But of course, with me being out in the black for so long, I'm already elite. I've been elite since maybe 2 years ago, and that's my only elite ranking. You see my balance, my credit balance is at 948 million. Now, if I go to Anara, which is a resource for Elite Dangerous players, you can actually import your Frontier data from whatever console you play on, whether it's PS4, Xbox One, or PC. You can import it from your Frontier account, which is linked to your player stats, into Anara, and they'll give you stats at a glance. And with all the assets I have, assets meaning like stored modules and ships, I have about 2 billion credits. But still, I am very far away from owning a fleet carrier. So this stream is maybe a shorter one, but it will be a sort of personal tour. Like if you don't own a fleet carrier and you haven't like been on one, this stream will tell you like what services the fleet carrier has. Or maybe you're a returning Elite Dangerous player, but you haven't seen the update, you haven't seen the beta, or you haven't seen like just the talks of the fleet carriers and what they have, what they bring to the game. So we'll start with the, what's it called, carrier services. And yeah, so that's how it comes up, has its own fleet. That icon on the top left is the fleet carrier icon. You will see it in the nav panel, which is right here, and you got to make sure you set your filters to accept fleet carrier signals. And then once I jumped into the system, I saw this, like, oh man, it's crazy. Plus, you know what, I'll include in this stream what we have in this system. And if you go in the Frontier forums, and this specific carrier has its own dedicated forum post, forum thread, so it'll tell you the exact system it's in, what this guy, he's probably on PC, but this is a cross-platform thing, and he does have like, you know, like list of what the system has, some like close orbiting moons, it has some notable stellar phenomena. Before I jumped into the system, I did jump into a system that did have a notable stellar phenomena, and it's rare for me to get that. It's rare for me to get that sort of stuff. So this, I believe this one, ooh, actually not one, but two. There's two notable stellar phenomena. So we'll dedicate some time to navigate over there and see what they have. They'll also have some ancient ruins down on the planet this carrier is orbiting. So yeah, but that's for later. So this is the DSSA Kraut. It's a Nautilus class carrier. If I go to carrier overview, then this is what it looks like in space. It's orbiting looks like a high metal content world or a rocky body or a metal rich. I can't really tell from first glance. It is orbiting around it, but this moon planetoid, is orbiting. It's very close. It's not really a shepherd moon, but it is orbiting pretty close and above the plane of these rings. These rings orbit around a brown dwarf star, And when I did jump into the carrier signal, I was greeted by this sight. Oh man, you should see the other side of this. Sadly, it kind of rotate, and plus, like, I don't have much control. Only these green, I mean, orange highlighted areas is what I can access. These are your active services. So it does have a secure warehouse. The secure warehouse is another term for black market. So if you do have like illegal goods, like let's say drugs or slaves, and say the system that you're in is not an anarchy system, but it is governed by, or the primary controller or the primary faction within that system has a government that outlaws a certain product, and will say illegal or illicit cargo in your hold when you're in space, the secure warehouse will be the place where you sell it, um, to, like, black market stuff would be more towards, like, BGS. They, like, you're not, when you're selling it, you're not supporting the controlling faction. You're actually undermining it, basically. A refuel station, of course, is where you refuel your ship. It's separate from the tritium that the fleet carrier uses to jump and travel. Um, Repair crews, like, like your ship, your hull, your modules. That's repairs it. Armory, I believe that's where your what's it called? The armory is. So I haven't read much into the fleet carrier services, but I believe the armory has to do with outfitting, and it's mostly with modules that you store. If they don't have the armory, or if they don't have outfitting in general, you can't store your modules, nor can you, like, transfer modules from storage to your ship. Commodity trading is basically trading commodities from the market. Commodities right now is usually what the carrier wants. The Kraut does want, or is buying, voidables, low temperature diamonds, and tritium, but is also selling tritium at a sale price. Redemption office, that's, you have combat bonds, so this is good when you're in a system that has a conflict zone, or they have man, what's it called? It's been so long since I done combat. Um, oh, just, yeah, conflict zones, and then like res sites. This resource extraction sites. Um, that's where you redemption office is where you submit your combat bonds, your bounties, and all that. And then universal holographics is probably the bread and butter of a deep space carrier like this one. So this is the place where you sell your data. Of course, you don't get the full amount as you would get at a station or a outpost that does have universal cartographics. For a fleet carrier, you see your universal cartographics get 12.5%, and the carrier itself gets a 12.5% cut from your total profit. No, not total profit, your total take, what you get when you sell your data. So, in a nutshell, 25% of what you really should get from a station or an outpost, you see, and the carrier gets it. But then you keep 75%. So, yeah. There was a thing where I wanted to donate my credits, like what I usually get from a data cell, but I couldn't find that. I couldn't find where you can. There is where you can donate tritium, but I do not have tritium in my cargo hold. I only had limpets, and I didn't really want to sell that, which is a very, very cheap cargo. So I did want to try to donate money so that, as you can see in the top right of the screen, this is the carrier balance. I believe the capacity is either tritium or cargo, or they're combined. And then the weekly upkeep is the amount of credits per week that the carrier has to pay in order to keep services like secure warehouse, the commodity trading, universal cartographics running. And then the owner can turn these services off, and then the upkeep will be lessened. So yeah, but from what I hear, the Rudi Raumkraut, the owner of this carrier, had before buying the fleet carrier 10 billion credits, and you can probably guess where he got that kind of money. Probably low temperature diamond mining or void opals. He may have mined a gold rush in those certain commodities and exploited, or either took advantage of the markets at that time and get that much money. Me myself, I did not have that kind of patience, did not have that kind of dedication. So good for him. For him, he can. I don't really want to go into the math of it all, but 5 billion with that upkeep, oh, he can stay here as long as people keep selling data to his carrier. I don't know how much the owner will get when someone sells. So I did a sell of the data I had from Seoul to the carrier, and it was about 30 million. But he only gets 25% of that. Oh no, he only gets 12% of that. Yeah, so whoever is watching, or who is watching this after the stream, if you can do math and put it somewhere, send a message to me how much 30 million of cartographic data, so 12%, 12.5% of that is what I don't want to bust out the calculator right now. Okay, just to finish the summary, shipyard. This is where you can buy ships, or you can store your ships here. There's not a lot of ships that you can buy here, basically because this is a deep space fleet carrier, and the only commanders this fleet carrier will encounter are explorers. Mostly explorers, sometimes explorers who have enough money to transfer a good ship with mining equipment and then transfer it over. With the shipyard, you can do that too. I was contemplating on once I docked here, access the shipyard, transfer my mining ships, which is my Imperial Cutter or a Type 9. I have a cutter in Seoul. No, I have a cutter in the bubble, I would say, is more accurate. And I do have a Type 9 all the way in Colonia. And both were fitted for ore mining. But I'm not a miner, or I'm not a dedicated person who just do this by myself. Exploring is more of my forte. So I'm still contemplating. I'm not gonna leave just yet. I am gonna explore the system. So I am contemplating whether to transfer either my cutter or my Type 9 over to the Kraut. And yeah, so that'll be another thing. So again, down the list, outfitting. This is where you outfit your ship with modules. The owner can manipulate the prices of the modules, so it could be cheaper, it could be higher than market value. For this carrier in particular, there's only some. It's not you won't get any A-rated stuff. No core modules or anything like that. It's mostly for like tritium mining, mining lasers, subsurface missiles, stuff like that. They do have seismic charge launchers, so there is like sort of a market towards that kind of resource. Okay, so since this is an anarchy system, it's basically there's no other factions around here, there's no other stations around here. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. It's actually most eastward of the Outer Orion Spur if you're looking from at the galaxy map from top down. So it's carrier security rating. I'm not sure what the other ones would be if it was in a had security. So security meaning it could be like the police patrols around the fleet carrier, or if the carrier has defensive emplacements, like lasers that if you do shoot at the fleet carrier, you gotta be you gotta be invested to make pay the price, and they will destroy your ship. Okay, so next one is docking access. So docking access is anyone that can dock at the carrier, and also notorious commander. If you're a commander who has a bounty in a populated system that has security, then you can go to this carrier and be allowed to dock there. Other places, if you do have a bounty, they won't let you park your ship there, or you would have to pay a fine if you were able to dock there. So this is a summary. The summary of what it has. What is this? Navigation. Navigation is this current location. It's jump capability. You can open the galaxy map from here, but I'm not sure if you can manipulate the navigation of it. So the tritium reserves is, I believe this is the fuel tank of the carrier. For tritium, you can have a tank of 1,000 units for your fleet carrier, and for a full 500 light year jump, you would spend 135 units of tritium. Then again, I would say the capacity here will be the tritium in storage. Since I'm not the owner, I cannot see what's in the cargo bay right now. So I believe it's pretty much tritium throughout. Okay. Commodity trading. That's so this imports and exports. It's importing low temperature diamonds, void opals, and painite. Yeah. So it's more directed towards miners and explorers. This one, secure trading. This is the black market. All right. That's I believe this is the codex, so I'm not going to look at that. Just go back to the thing. So again, just at a glance, secure trading is your black market, private enterprise. Can't really buy. There's nothing to buy or sell. So, and then the commodities market. Basically, it's a smaller. It won't have the capacity as a station would have, but it is, you can, I'm not sure how the demand or the works on fleet carriers, but it does have tritium to sell. You can buy it at 79k. Okay, and then carrier overview is what we just saw. Shipyard. So it has, well, this one has no stored ships. I do not have stored ships on this carrier, and there's two available ships to buy. It's the Hauler and the Adder. And for owners, they can buy blocks of this. You can't buy a single ship or like a single stock of ships. You gotta buy a certain block of these certain ships. So don't come to the crowd looking to buy yourself a cutter or an anaconda. It's not the fleet carrier for that. Universal color graphics. So when I was selling my data, it's a lot different than the screen you would see on a station. Though I haven't been on a station in a while, so it would look different. On a station or before, it was a list of your systems on the right, and then it would show on the left side of that the details. But for systems found here, it's a 2-column list of systems, and if you do select a system, it'll tell you the system name and the price you would get if you do sell it. But when you press the system, it won't sell it right then and there. It'll tell you a full screen of the details of each body you scanned. Orange would be bodies you've scanned, not necessarily honked at, but bodies you use the full spectrum scanner to discover all the stats like the temperature on the surface, the gravity, the eccentricity, all that good stuff. It will show you that, but the ones highlighted in yellow will be the ones that you've surface scanned, and it'll tell you any bonuses. On the bottom right of opposite the back button there, we'll have the basically your bonus after what the carrier and UC takes. So let's go back. There's nothing to see there since I sold all my data. Redemption Office, it's pretty much a smaller version of the Redemption Office thing. You can see here, you can your combat bonds, your trade dividends. This is a new thing. Intel packages and then codex discoveries. That's for like explorers, bounty vouchers. Yeah. And Tritium Depot has its own menu. And that's its fuel capacity is 1,000. It's at 100%. And then here you can donate tritium. There was no place I saw that you can donate credits. So yeah. And then crew lounge is like if you have like a ship that does have a fighter bay, you can assign your crew here. But I don't have a compatible ship. And then on this side would be your outfitting, your delivery, advanced maintenance, buying limpets. This is all new UIs here. I'll keep this paintwork at 71%. I want to see what the Imperial Clippers looks like without paint. So this is where you get structural repairs. It's like, your hull, your integrity, your cockpit canopy. Internal repairs is your modules. So you can say, ooh, I do need to repair these. Oh, nice. It looks like I haven't seen this before. So I do need to repair my FSD. So before I do that, I do want to check the modules here. So mostly everything is 100% rather than friendship drive, which gets worn down by neutron stars and other damages, and power plants. So I did repair my hull integrity and all that, but not this. So this is a separate thing. So you can select which ones to repair. It says repair is complete if it doesn't need any repair, but if it's highlighted in orange, they will need repair. and you can just do a blanket repair like that. So my repairs are in tip-top shape, no chance of malfunction. External repairs, these are your utilities, there's nothing to repair. Restock modules, oh, AFMU, you need to refill that. So anything that needs things, these are also for like munitions, like multi-cannons or missiles. This is where you would restock vehicles. So there, this is only if you you risk your SRV and then destroy one. I have 3, mainly because I couldn't find any cargo bays in this. I'll show you the stock of this. This carrier needs cargo racks. Needs cargo racks. No fighter hangars can install because it's not compatible. Limpets. No limpet controllers are currently installed. This one's refuel. I'm full up. You can do 10% or you can do it all. So outfitting. It's gonna wait a bit and then they'll show you a typical outfitting screen. So hard points, it only has class 2 hard points, and it's mainly mining equipment. Seismic launchers, subsurface, mining lasers, abrasion blasters. Yeah, there's no large ones. So if you do have a large ship, you can just put a class 2 on there. Utility mounts, these are the ones I have on this ship, but what they do have are just heat sinks. Not too much. Quarantinos have no stock at all. I did want to try to find a fuel tank, but this one doesn't have fuel tanks. So this is, if I just go to my number class 2, okay, I'm back. Okay, I just talked all of that. In a nutshell, without going into much detail, this carry has not so much stuff. So if you do decide to come out here, bring a cargo rack, because this fleet carrier does not have a cargo rack at all. One thing I would suggest for Rudi is to buy, like, you know, Well, never mind. That is like a fleet. No, it's not fleeting. It's impossible because there is no carrier things to um, buy modules from. That is a drawback for having a deep space fleet carrier. So enough of that. I know you guys are itching for what it looks like on the outside, so let's go. Let's return to service. I'm not gonna launch yet. Okay. The movie, the pad 6. It was pad 5 before. Oh, you see rings there. Okay, cool. Okay. So this is what it looks like. I believe we're facing that way. Forward. We're facing forward. The cockpit is towards where the cockpit is facing. Because when you do go down into the hangar, you don't do your 180 and then you get retreated back into a thing. You just get lowered and then the door goes above you. Alright, well, that's the carrier services. Now we're gonna check out the outside of this. Now, there is a bug with the paint jobs. There are cosmetic items for fleet carriers, and the paint job is the one that's buggy. The one that are working are the different models. There's 3 different models. There might be more in the future. But this one is a Nautilus, I believe, so it has sort of a scientific look to it. I'll just show you.
Thrusters online.
Ship has released. Please watch for traffic during departure.
Copy that, but there is no traffic in this sector. Show you the cockpit first. Light on. That's what the front looks like. From afar, this is the whole thing.
We have an airlock malfunction on deck A. Maintenance units, please respond.
That happened yesterday. I have an airlock malfunction. We gotta fix that. That's pretty much it. This is just doing horizontal drift here. That's the A-class star. This is the brown dwarf. It orbits around. And then this is the okay. This is the shot I got. This is the shot I got when I jumped into the system, or jump into the fleet carrier signal. Right. Maybe I'll give you an unobstructed view without the cockpit. Sun side first. bridge, I would say. The bridge portion. And along the underside are these containers. Lichen, manticore. There's going to be like supplies, like food, stuff. I don't know what these things would be. It'd be like crew quarters or maybe like that. This is towards the engine side. I don't know what those things are. You can make a guess what it is. Oh, basically these are upright versions of those along the underside. So maybe these are like the tritium tanks. Tritium is a rock, but I guess it's refined somehow and then put in these as a fuel. These are like fuel tanks maybe. They roll here. And then to just see the engines. Now, like with other liveries or other models, the fleet carrier will have more engines than these. So there's like 4 models. There's the Drake class, that's the default class without a livery on it. This is the Nautilus class, which is more a scientific centric model. Okay. Alrighty. Gonna go towards the top side. Sort of close-up shot towards the side. Do a little bit of speed there. So there's like 8 large ones, 8 large pads, 4 medium, and 4 small pads for a fleet carrier. And then the DSSA Kraut is on the side there. Not sure if it's on other places, or if the 6 digits, which is like sort of the call sign, or the ship tag. Maybe it's somewhere else. But yeah, it's not the sound of my ship. You know what? Just looking at this, like I didn't know this thing actually burned red. I think they did change the model a bit. Enough of my ship. Yes. This fleet car is not going anywhere else anytime soon. So you'll be sure it's going to be here next year. Oh, let me just stalking.
Permission granted. Please approach your designated landing pad in good time.
Oh, it's coming towards the engines here. That flight control. This is the Kitsune Mario Mark II. Let's see the land pad too. Get down, stand.
Contact confirmed. Commence shutdown. Welcome, Commander.
It's a tour of the DSSA Kraut. Not much to look at, but if you do stick around, we're gonna go to the ancient ruins. These are probably the ones that are Guardian. I did watch the Guardian stream from Drew Agar. I believe it's the last episode 10. So if you do get a chance, to watch that. But now we're gonna have a little tour around NGC 3199 sector. Delta Lima dash yellow, Delta 12, Planet 1.
Ship released. You are clear to leave.
Now it's really easy to loiter around the other ones if you come in from, not from above, but below. And if you fight very close to the maybe this will get a good view of the round dwarf.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Now with I do not intend to stay here for very long.
Orbital flight
Maybe
engage.
a few days maybe. It is pretty dead, and most of the activity will be on PC. But this is a good instance of, you know, PC crossing platform, or like an asset crossing a platform from PC to Xbox One, where this is being played on right now. And all fleet carriers are persistent. Not sure how it is with instancing. If you do watch Drew Agar's Formula 9 Rift Expedition stream on the first part, they did try to get to watch the arrival of some fleet carriers, but it only happened within 3 instances and not their own instance. Or might be too low. Before I even go into glide. Make sure we're above. I don't want to freaking travel 200 kilometers in non-super cruise speeds. Alright. Let's get I would say 40, 35 degrees is optimal. You can try to go 50, but then that's like kamikaze. Each runs on the day side. Now, if you need to brush up on your lore, I do suggest watching Drew Agar's stream on YouTube. He does that on Twitch, but he uploads it to YouTube. Episode 10 is about the Guardians, how they started, or the adulterated version, according to Ram Tala. Okay, and since I do have an SRV, we can check this out on the surface. I think this one is a different model, I think. I'll make sure I got a suitable location. Park my ship there. My planetary, I think one of them is off. Yeah, the 2G one, but the one that's class 4 is on. I'm not sure which one is it. Okay, we'll do this one.
Warning.
Well, that's the Kitsune Mara on the outside. Nice. I believe the ruins are on the right. Just bear with me. Some lights on. It is a bit shadowed. Just made it. Are the cops going? No, it's not. Xenological discovery made. Guardian Codex. So these are codexes. I'm not sure why you can't scan that one. There's our ship in the distance. Okay, cool. For some, they do activate. They do have like things you can scan with the daylight scan. This one I haven't seen before. Whoa! Let's get a top-down view. Oh, there's a central area. Alright, central area. So this is like one of the arms of the thing. Maybe we'll go to that one. So there's looks like to be a lot more than the one I'm on. Yeah, mine's a smaller collection of those things. Maybe I shouldn't. I should just go there. and jump down from there. Okay. Oh crap. Good off-road tires. So I gotta jump. Wait. Oh crap. There was something there. I don't know what it was. Jeez, man. There's something there, dude. Okay. The grade is not that bad. Oh, here we go. Alright, codex. Where's the data? Wait, what's this thing I can... What? It'd be cool if we could see the actual... Okay. Looks like there was only two. What's in that very center? Oh, no. I'm on my roof. I don't know what happened. I'm stuck there. Oh, see, I was stuck there. I think I would see something in here. What's in the worst? Oh, I see. Let's just go see. Do something different. My high beam's on. Okay, now that's something
deployed.
I just freaking got. Oh, okay. Funny. But I gotta be in combat mode first. I guess you can't. You can only do it on the structures, and not on the materials.
Hold at maximum capacity.
Okay. Made it. Cleared it. Never mind. Where they have all of those. Let's go back to my ship. And the thing is like floating mysteriously. Okay, enough the ancient ruins. It's hard to get bored down there. Oh, that's the thing. I can't transfer cargo because I sold one day. Dang it. Can you still board the ship though? If you have... No, we cannot. Oh, okay. Alright. Let's end the stream with notable stellar phenomena. I personally have not been to those yet. So it'll be a good chance to see what they have. I did find one with a yellow Lagrange crowd. Okay, where is it? Oh my god, so far.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1, engage. This is the top side or bottom side of these rings. In reality, I think this certain location is catered to explorers and tourists. Either explorer or tourist. That is a pretty big ring system, though. You know what? Let's stop. I want to see something. Oh, this is the wrong one. Let's do this. That's the... which one is it? We are around this star. Y around our star. And we are out of range. We suck. Okay, now we're... I think this is the only way you can scan a brown dwarf is the ring. Surface scan complete.
Okay, cool. Can we do this one? Never tried it before. It's a sun, so you can't... well, it's a stellar body, you can't really scan it. What if you can? No, it just eats up your probe. Alright, oh, they got painite, they got platinum here, but this carrier needs cargo racks in order to store it, man. Are you gonna sell it as a painite ore? So before coming out here, you better have a cargo rack. So I sold mine and didn't get to buy it back. My mistake. Another brown dwarf star. Oh. Now, if you can't see the things inside, just turn on night vision and you'll see them. Lagrange cloud.
Frameshift drive charging.
No.
Ready to engage.
Shut up. Shut up, man. I'll turn off my friendship drive. That's one thing you gotta freaking figure out is what buttons you press when you do your thing. Okay. I am like moving at a crawl right now. Oh, I can AB2. Alright. This is cool, man. Oh, dude. Looks like a cool, the nebula in the background. Let's do a silhouette picture. Yes. Yes. Do that. Take a picture. Alright. Now, if you don't know what Lagrange clouds are, there's a scientific term called Lagrange point. And it's certain points that are in front of a orbiting body and behind it. And real world applications is they would put a satellite there or a tracker or whatever. It's not in orbit, it's basically just following the orbiting body on its orbiting line, and they would. So I guess the explanation would be these clouds of dust and gas and whatever is in these things, other particles, other debris, cosmic debris, and whatever collects at these points. And these clouds is basically the collection of it in all in one clump. Okay. So I guess that's... So this is just the outside. Looks like I'm about to enter it. And some of these are very, very... it's like a... like it blocks out the light from other stars. It even blocks out the blackness of space. Even blocks out this nebula right here. This, I forgot what... That's the NGC 3199 Nebula. Alright, so let's take a look at what's in these things. Sometimes they have crystals, sometimes they have biological life. Looks like it's the latter. Crop scanner. Now if you do enter it, you'll discover it just like that. It's a Rosium Lagrange cloud. That little formation on the left side there, if you see it, looks like a maelstrom. Now, you can use lights, but the cloud doesn't really reflect it. It's not like a physical cloud. It's more like a intangible material. It's sort of like the nebulas you see out in let's say the image of the galaxy around you. You can't get to it, but it can. For this one, it can envelop your ship. Now, what's it look like outside? Yeah, it's okay. Like sometimes, if it's like really bright, like a yellow one, it will like blanket your ship in that color. We're going into some really darkest parts of the cloud. Let's put our lights because the objects in here do reflect that light. All right. What is this thing? What is this thing, man? Looks like a crystal formation. It is Lindigoticum silicate crystal. Take another screenshot there. Just a close look at it. So some of these are as big as a ship. Maybe even bigger. Like the comparison. It's kind of weird, but it is bigger than my ship, I think. Maybe density-wise it's not. It's like less dense, but size-wise it is different. Now, in these clouds, usually there are two kinds of these things. There's that blue one, and I believe this one might be a different variety. Usually at least two, or sometimes just one of a certain type of thing. This one, it has a more red tinge to it. So we'll go see, maybe get even closer. get too close. Oof. This one is a rhosium silicate crystal. I'll just put this here just to give you a size comparison. So it is bigger. Like say if I detach my camera and reattach it, it is quite bigger. It's a lot bigger than my ship. And this is a large ship in Elite. Alright. Maybe we'll find a different kind in the other one here. We'll see. And since there is two, I would say these are the Lagrange points of that star there. And then this thing doesn't have mass, so you can... Oh, never mind. The drives was disabled for some reason.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
It's behind the rings. Ooh, different. Ah, I told you. This one's a green one. I think it's the same crystals inside, just a different Lagrange cloud. Yep. Veride Lagrange cloud. Though I would take that back. It might be different up close. There's a lighter version and there's a darker version. Which one of these are closer to? Or comparing it with their size, there might be the same distance to me. It is a different one. Albidum silicate crystals and these ones. The same, okay. So they have a different have one last shot of the little stellar phenomenon in the vapor trails of my clipper.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Right. Thank you for joining me on this little tour of the NGC 3199 sector, and before that, a tour of the DSSA Kraut. I think the next stream would be just leaving. I do not plan to stay here. My original plan was to go to the Hawkins Gap region, which is next door, north of the Outer Orion Spur region, and to set up a semi-permanent home base at the DSSA Ironside. It's another fleet carrier out there. It's probably the only one in the Hawkins Gap that is operational. So I figured so if you go to the DSSA forums, the main one, there is certain images of the whole map of the galaxy with each region separated, and there's 1 to 2 fleet carrier symbols on each, and it tells you their certain number in the list and where the approximate location is according to the navigational charts and the galaxy map, which system approximately is in that location. Yeah, and then you'll find so you'll find another map, which is basically a heat map. And when I say heat map, this is basically the overall traffic of ships within the galaxy. Now, most people will do a straight shot from Sol to Colonia to Sagittarius A and to Beagle Point. That is the popular route. But I myself, since I'm an explorer, and I do want to get the first Discover tag on some systems, I tend to go off the beaten path and blaze my own trail. So, looking at the heat map, I was looking at the Hawkins Gap, and then there's only one thin line, which is probably an expedition that went through there during the search for the Formidine Rift and the Cardian ruins. But some parts of the galaxy map, it has been left blank, and it's a good candidate, good area to look out for undiscovered systems, which is what I want to, and that is my plan. There are some undiscovered systems here in the Outer Orion Spur, but ultimately this was just like a pit stop, sort of. Just to try. Okay, this is gonna be a little bit hairy here. Flying near the rings. Now there is a good chance I could be pulled out of Super Cruise. But hey, look at that! Just threading the needle, man. Oh my gosh! Look at that! That's crazy. Oh my gosh!
That's the thing with Super Cruise Assist. It doesn't. It assists you in your Super Cruise if you're going in a straight line, but it won't assist you in dodging ring systems like that. It's not a true autopilot. Oh, that's a nice shot of the planet with a supposed ice cap. Alright, we've made it back to the Kraut. I am going to leave the docking sequence here. Have flight control talk to me.
Welcome, Commander. Please request docking permission before approaching a landing pad.
Roger out, DSSA Kraut flight control. I'm on approach to the rear of the ship. Because it's docking.
Permission granted. Please approach your designated landing pad in good time.
Which one is that? Ooh, I'm in the front. So if you enjoyed the stream, please give me some feedback. And give me a follow on mixer.com/R1Z_Danny Vega. And I'll see you in the next stream.
Attention, Commander. You need to deploy your landing gear.
I know. Usually deploy my landing gear when I'm at the pad. Anyway, guys. I'll end it right here.
Commence shutdown.
See you guys around. Stay safe out there. Oh, 07 Commanders.